Joe Jr., however you're reaching out. I appreciate your time. This podcast is designed to spread knowledge, teach, and inform the listener and viewer about the positive advancement of Virginia athletes born or raised, and definitely born and raised. Today is episode 2, season 2, where we welcome Virginia Union University women's head coach, Tierra. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing all right.
Good. I'm glad to have your time. Welcome to Commonwealth Sports Talk.
Thank you.
So I really want to jump into everything because usually when I research and study a person, I get really deep into their journey. And first and foremost, congrats on your basketball career as a ball player and then transitioning into coaching.
I appreciate it.
Not usually the easiest one, although being a player, it does give you an opportunity to see it from both angles now. So tell me how you think that's an advantage for you coming straight out playing and learning the ropes going into coaching.
It's definitely been an advantage because when you get in those game situations, let's say you're down 2 with 30 seconds, you know exactly how that feels. You know exactly how 2-a-days, going through tough practice, going through class, like you know exactly how they feel. And as bad as you want to feel sorry for them, you're also like, man, come on, I've been there. Like, don't give me that. So it's definitely been an advantage. And then you also have that passion because you know that you fought for a scholarship and then you teach someone and coach someone that also fought for a scholarship. So you know that struggle as well too, being selected out of however many people are in the gym that day. And that's it's a tough thing to do. So
Nice. Well, yeah. Congratulations on being the 9th head coach for Virginia Union.
So. Appreciate it.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on. I wanted to ask you about the potential for this team that you're stepping in. They got high regards. Their background, 134-17 in the last 5 seasons. What are you looking forward to as far as embedding yourself in this Virginia Union culture? I mean, as far as even the core of the team, what you're bringing into the team, and just your expectations, coming in.
Well, I'm excited. Unfortunately, we're living through a crazy time right now. So my expectations are still high, but at the same time, you have to adjust to what you're dealing with. So, I'm just expecting everyone to come in optimistic, to work hard. It's tough. We don't know what the future holds yet, but just if we have to do individual workouts the whole time, if we have to do 4 people workouts, whatever, I just want people to, keep that optimistic spirit. And my biggest thing as a player was working hard. I wanted to outwork everyone. So even if you aren't the most skilled player, if you're disciplined enough to work hard, you're still going to be ahead of everyone else, to me. So, like you said, returning wise, I'm really excited. We have, the twins. That's what everyone typically knows. but we have the twins, but on top of that, we have Bianca Lakami coming back at the shooting guard position. We have Rose Fall, that's from Senegal originally, that we're excited. I'm really excited to see Rose actually blossom this year. We have Raven Williams, who couldn't play last year, really. You got Tanaya Johnson from Roanoke, Virginia, that did some nice things as a freshman. And I'm not purposely forgetting anyone. Those are just some people that just in the top of my mind right now. But and then our incoming people, we have a couple transfers and a couple freshmen. So just trying to get them used to our style of play. But it's cool to have that experience coming in too, always, and just having someone to hold the freshman's hand on the way in as well. And like I said, no one's dealt with this before ever. So no one has like a perfect blueprint for, I was just talking to someone about how challenging it's going to be to teach people what you want when you can't be face to face with them all the time. So we're going to have to find innovative ways to like say, hey, this is what we want the play to look like. This is what we want the pace to look like. Hey, watch this player. That's who you need to like kind of models, you know? So just finding innovative ways to do stuff like that. Team building is going to be challenging at times, but trying to get our team chemistry up. I mean, I'm excited. It's scary, but I'm excited.
Well, of course, it's scary first time, but you know,
Yeah.
when you come from your experience at Western Carolina and your experience at William and Mary, take me through that just a little bit with the 3 years. We'll go specifically at William and Mary. So 3 years in, I'm sure you've gotten some ladies in that you might have recruited or had from the very beginning and saw them mature into players that developed into that good team, as I
Right.
call the Road Warriors
Yeah.
last year. With that group. So tell me how that felt, the 3-year process, getting to, you know, get invited into the culture, like 3 years in. How did it feel?
Oh, it was, I mean, it was a lot of good learning experiences. I mean, Coach Swanson had coached this was starting his 30th season. So just coming into someone's system who's already been in the game that long and just stuck to his system and kept going with it, never changed, never faltered. Getting the team to believe in the system was pretty easy because he believed in it so much.
Yeah.
And it just, they were like, okay, we see what you're doing. You know, like at first you're going to get a little pushback on some things, but I think the best thing that could have happened to us last year was we got a performance coach specifically for men's and women's basketball. And Ray Eady did, I mean, I can't even tell you how amazing of a job he did, like conditioning, strength-wise. They did daily check-ins with their sleep patterns, their eating habits, I mean, he had a whole system, and it completely changed our program.
So you kind of say he brought a healthy lifestyle to the team in regards to their eating habits, everything, knowing the body.
For sure, yeah.
Kinesiology of the body.
For sure, yeah. William and Mary had a very strong science backing with the sport performance. And so we had a whole system of like when we wanted to practice hard, when we wanted to go, you know, less, when we go hard in the weight room, when we go hard in practice. And their bodies felt much better. Their minds were much better. I mean, it was amazing to me. So
that is an amazing feeling. I try to preach that with track and field because I ran track in college, and so many people don't like track, but it teaches you how to learn your body. If you learn your body, you can max on certain days, and there's other days you teach the movement, the fundamentals, and then you max hard again. So yeah, that is very essential to a team's success. So I can definitely understand that one.
Coach, I want to ask about what you bring to coaching from your academic background. So talk about...
Man, is it thundering over there?
Yeah, can you hear that?
Yeah.
It's about to start here.
The lights went out. It's been kind of crazy these days.
It's like a real life tsunami. I thought I lost my power for a second.
Okay. Yeah. Show goes on.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I don't know. Storm side chat, I guess.
Sorry to interrupt your question, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. But no, I wanted to ask about the academic background you bring into coaching. Go back to your education at Winston-Salem State. You know, I think it says you have a Master of Arts in Psychology and then also a minor in Sociology. So I think that could be something big that you bring to the court, right? Because being that Joe and I have coached high school, we know what it's like to be on the sideline and, you know, your players reciprocate your energy.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
You knowing, you know, the ins and outs of sociology and psychology, you know, talk about how that helps you on the court, you know, relate to
Yeah, you know, on my coaching journey at first, I was nervous because I wasn't like the loud, have to be in your face all the time, you know. But I've realized that I do use my psychology background a lot. I try to learn each player individually. I do know when something's off with them, when something's wrong with them. I'll ask them like, hey, you're not right today. What's going on? Oh, had this crazy test, you know, like whatever the situation may be. So I do try to tune into them individually for sure. And with my master's, I did my thesis on sport burnout. So, yeah. So like, I watch out for stuff like that and look at what motivates each player, because each player is motivated differently. So if I can yell at you, but I can't yell at you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do have to yell.
You're right.
But
Right.
sometimes you don't.
Whole goal is to get them to that next level in their
Mhm.
progression. So however it needs to be done, it's your job to cut the corners and not take forever to do it. And psychology is a great key. And I think that kind of goes right into what I'm going to give you credit, because I always give credit to those that come on. I appreciate your time. You're in Virginia. You're one of our coaches at the collegiate level that we're going to follow. And I'm hoping that I can get more to follow based on this. Alpha Phi Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Community work.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I absolutely love it. People don't know what that is. Yes, it's a fraternity, but not your normal Divine Nine.
Right.
It's one for community service, leadership and development, and the social opportunities for the collegiate athlete. Say no more.
Right.
When I read up on that, I was like, man, I need to be a part of that. Like, that's when you know it's good. When you say stuff like that, it needs to be good. So shout out to you and your work in the community. I think that's what Virginia loves. We love those who put in the work, but gives others opportunities to follow en route. So tell me about a time when, I guess I can say, tell me a time when your community service got you a networking opportunity, just so that we can kind of pass that on to others to understand how important it is.
Let me think.
No, that was a hard one, I know, but
it was, but it's okay. You know, I'll say, so I used to work with a group called Latin Flavor Entertainment in Florida, and really it started off as we were pretty much promoting salsa, because that's part of my heritage too. So like, I was excited about that. But it started off as something like, in Florida, which I just did for fun. And it didn't feel like community service at all. It was just like, oh, I'm having fun. And then I got into the Hispanic League of Winston-Salem once I became an assistant again. So that kind of leewayed into that. And then another situation, let's see, I coached the youth, like 5 to 7 year old boys in Florida at in a church league.
Yeah.
One of my friends was like, hey, they need a coach. I'm like, oh, awesome. I love coaching boys. Like, this is so fun. So I got in trouble because I had them pressing, and at 5 years old, you're not supposed to press, apparently.
I love it.
And I was like, why can't they press? Like, what are you serious?
Don't limit their learning. Don't limit their learning.
Yeah, I had them playing zone. Like, I had a little point guard that was a captain, and it kind of, even though it seems like kids, it still helped me with my head coaching future, because I still had, you have to have patience to coach 5-year-olds. So
I work in Parks and Rec with sports. I run sports. So to see all those kids running around and to see how coaches have to continue to corral them, then teach, corral, then teach, it correlates with your college kids. Because like you said, the psychology piece, you have to get their mind in the gym.
Yes.
They'll come, but you have to get their mind in the gym, and then you can have your team that can grow. So
yeah, they have so much going on. When you think about it, think about the average college athlete. Like, when we were that age, we didn't have time to think about it. It was just kind of like, you're going to do this and that's it. And but when you think about the college athlete, like, they have study hall, they have workouts, they have strength training, they have classes that they actually have to attend. Some do work study, some want to do community service, some want to do internships. Your day is pretty slammed. And if you don't manage it properly, your mind is going to go like all over the place.
yes.
And so we learned how important, like, something simple as time management helps, like, anxiety and just depression, even, because you're like, you feel more in control when you actually have some kind of plan. When you're just like out there doing whatever, you're like, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this, and you can't really see how to, like place things. And if you actually place stuff, it's like you don't have to make your whole life a schedule, but it does help to have some structure, I feel like, because it can get crazy. And now you have to prioritize what's most important that day at that time. And, unfortunately, athletes sacrifice a lot of social activities, or if they don't, they're tired because all their social activities are like 10 p.m. to whatever.
Yeah.
So all that stuff plays a factor.
It's like a double-edged sword, I think, where you get to experience something that, you're only 10% of the college, so that's just a generous number, but as an athlete, to experience some of the journeys that you get as a family, to be feeling inclusive walking into campus.
Right.
As a non-college athlete, walking into campus can seem overwhelming.
Yeah.
So to have something to be a part of, just like you said, a schedule, it tells you where you fit and how you can grow and what is in front of you. So I think that is important. Definitely. So, Coach, you got a 30. She averaged 30 points in 9 games. Sharika last year.
32.
And let me just ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
If you walk into a practice, and this is just hypothetical. If you walk into this practice and your recruits, your transfers, your team is all right there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, if they get stagnant, how do you switch it up? How would that psychology kick in to where you see, hey, man, they're really running my stuff faster than normal. How do I throw a curveball into this? Because I don't want them to get complacent. Never want to be complacent, correct?
Right. That's a good question. The good thing too, when I can officially have my assistant with me, she brings a whole different train of thought sometimes too, and she's already made some suggestions that I'm like, I haven't even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your one thing I love doing. I think it helps the pace of practice. Is like starting off like we did at William and Mary, starting off with individuals, and then going into a drill, then going into like a full court, then going back to a drill, then going back to a full court. Kind of like teaching, implement, teach, implement, and it kind of keeps their attention more because you're going like, all right, I'm teaching you this skill, now use it. Okay, now I'm teaching you this skill, now use it. And instead of just being like, all right, we're going to do this drill. All right, let's do this drill. Okay, let's do this drill. And now we're going to play, So, and then, sometimes you have to be kind of nitpicky. That always changes up the mood a little bit.
It definitely does. So,
maybe they did something one time, and then one time you caught it and you call them out, and now they're like, it's like, well, sorry, I didn't see it the first time. I saw it this time, So you definitely, basketball, it is mental. So sometimes you do have to throw wrenches in there. If someone gets fouled and you don't call it, then everyone's getting all upset. And it's like, I'm sorry, that happens in the game. So one of our assistant coaches when I played used to get in the bleachers and act like she was the band when we shot free throws and just make all this noise. And so, you just, sometimes you have fun. Sometimes you're down to business.
That's awesome.
Coach, we are actually a part of a network, a sports network. So when all this craziness allows, are back on the court, just know, let your media attendant, let your person who's in charge of media know we will be there. We're going to give you the coverage you guys deserve. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We appreciate that.
We definitely appreciate that.
Definitely. And we will be supporting you in your journey. So, we wish you all the success, obviously. And I just want to give a shout out to a strong woman that has been a leader from day one. And, I have a daughter, and so this is something perfect for her to see on the forefront. And I just salute to you.
I appreciate that.
Not a problem at all. got anything for us? I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to go too deep into something we haven't explored into yet, but this is
Right.
what we're building. So
Right. I'm like, I don't have a lot of answers for you right now, but I'm just trying to stay optimistic. Checking on the players, just making sure they're, like you said, their mental health. Some days they're not okay, and it's okay to not be okay. But a lot of them have questions that, unfortunately, no one in the nation can answer right now. I always tell them I can do it more now because Virginia Union's more faith-based, so I can actually say more faith-based stuff. So I always tell them I believe in God. So like whatever comes out of this, I'm not gonna worry. I'm just gonna, give it to Him and pray everything works out well. And I do have to say I have to thank my wonderful husband because he keeps me sane. And good support system's important in these times. So I'm glad you guys reached out as well, because even this is a good support system. Someone might need to see something that we say on these talks, and someone might need to be inspired. And you guys are doing a great job too.
I appreciate that. And you're taking me right into my final question before we get you off here. And obviously, William & Mary is different from Virginia Union. Faith-based, one of the things you might have mentioned there, but take me through how you said, you have a room full of 18 to 22-year-old women, and they are finding themselves in this world of how to be, well represented. So
right.
When those times come and those talks come, how will you be welcoming as a coach in that moment? Like, how do you see that happen?
Well, I try to be, I have open and honest conversations with the players. I'm not going to hide what's going on in the world right now. If I have information to pass on to them, I'm not going to hide it from them. I always tell them that, like, on the days when I notice that someone's not having a good day, I always tell them, you don't have to talk to me, but know that I know something's not right with you. And I've had players come back like a day later and be like, how'd you know? And then they start talking to you about stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to force it out of you, but just know that I noticed. And, no shame. Like, I've had to refer players to counseling services before because I want to normalize that. If you really cannot handle the problem on your own, there's free counseling services. Like, I'm a counselor myself. So like I feel like if you can't handle it and it's really affecting your daily life, then you need to go, get it figured out. At Virginia Union, they offer chapel services every Thursday at 11. I plan on going to some, and, I hope that if the players feel comfortable that they go to some as well. I try to be on the court. You might not always like me, but off the court, I'm going to do what I can to help you. I still talk to players I coached 5-6 years ago. I had a player recently reach out. I just coached going to play overseas, and she had questions. And I try to really build genuine relationships with people. That's always been who I am. So, because at the end of the day, yeah, we want to win. Of course, we're competitive. But at the end of the day, to me, winning is when I see you successful 5 years after you graduate. And I'm like, she finally did it, man. So winning games is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I want to win games. I really do. But I just want to say, like, that's the most rewarding part to me. Just knowing that a woman came out of this whole situation.
Absolutely. It's a joyous feeling that you can't create until the moment's actually there.
Yeah, for sure.
Light bulb clicks on for them, and they look back at you and say, "I can't believe it," and great feeling. So yes, I can definitely have motivation through that. Along with at the level you're at, winning does have to be a part of the equation. So
sure. For sure. They say you feel better, like when you feel better, you perform better. So, hey, that's part of the equation, like you said. So we do want to win. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Spoken like a true leader.
She has a good competitive drive is what that sounds like.
I definitely.
That's a
One of
part
those
of it.
running back people, I can already tell. Run it back. Yeah, I need to.
Part of it. Yeah, five-year-olds, we pressing till they tell us not to.
I don't understand why we couldn't.
I mean,
Teaching them future life skills. Like they are pressing.
Are we going 100 miles an hour as a Panther, as a Lady Panther? Are we going 100 miles an hour?
I want to.
You want to.
I want to.
That's the goal.
You got some track tips for us? Because we're going to need them in the fall.
It's only high school, but this is something I did before the season. They may not like it. A mile or a 2 mile run is consistent with the workouts prior to putting the ball in their hand. And then that power hour after that 2 or 1 mile workout is your fourth quarter drives that you have their brain drained so you can get, I'm sorry, I said it backwards. You have their body drained so that you can get all mental.
Their mind.
First time touching the ball. That's high school, but that's I loved it because I ran track and they used to say, Coach, man, I can't even put on weight messing with you. I said, look, there's a time to do it, but it's not before the season. Preseason, we're getting conditioned. So we're ready to run first game.
For sure.
Absolutely. Well, the Commonwealth Sports Talk, we'd like to thank you for your time, Coach Tierra of Virginia Union. We will be following. We will be attending. I don't know how this world is going to allow us to do that, but we will find a way. So
yes.
We will have some fans on our end, and we will continue to support you.
I appreciate that. And we do have new social media pages. So if you want to follow Twitter or Instagram, it's VUUWBB now. So we're trying to get that number back up.
Here, say it one more time.
VUUWBB, Twitter and Instagram, whichever, pick if you like both,
All you got to do.
Yes.
I love it. So that's great. We want to go ahead and get that knowledge out to everybody that is looking to keep up with the Virginia Union Lady Panthers. So once again, it's VUUWBB. Correct. Okay. If I can remember it, they can remember it. So I appreciate that, Coach. And you stay safe and continue to be inventive because that's what I guess that's what this opportunity allows us to be.
Yeah, you have to. You got to have some kind of creative mind at this point. So
absolutely.
We'll figure it out, though.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Best of luck to you. Like you said, we're going to be there to support you, and we're excited to have you here. So we appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Overtime.
He named it. I didn't name it. Overtime.
I talked to him in person about that the other day.
That was nice.
My God, I like it.
Very good push. I love it.
Yeah. Man, that's gonna be fire.
He's genuine again. Like, is it? I ain't trying to. We must be bringing the genuine out in people because sometimes I be believing having a collegiate coach, they're gonna just give you the rah rah rah. But when we get them on and then they understand that we're genuine too, I guess it kind of, flows smooth. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of persona that people are attracted to, right? So like, that's gonna just go over to the players. I mean, it's gonna be a smooth transition, and when you have somebody like that, it makes you allow yourself to be human. You know what I mean? Like that's the rawest form of emotion expression. And I just feel like that's what our players are gonna do. And like, with all, the talent that she's stepping into and then the drive, man, who knows how far that can go.
Man, I think that's a perfect match with a coach with drive, experience, and just the energy, and then to bring it into a talented team already and to see bigger and better visions. So I think the Virginia Union's done themselves a good job. Shout out to Joe Taylor for the hire there, that Virginia Union sports group over there, the athletic director. So they picked a great one. That's all I could say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, this is the overtime segment here. We're going to add on Virginia fact, but we don't have one prepared. So what we're going to do is just talk a little bit about the Virginia Union history.
I'm cool with that.
I remember a guy named Darius Hargrove that I played against when I was at TAB against Brunswick. He was a sophomore then, already assigned his letter of intent to Virginia Union. And, you know, everybody's competitive, so you think you're, you know, want a piece of the action. That's where our career ended at Brunswick High School, and he went on to go play at Virginia Union and win a national championship there. So I watched him win it while I was at college, and I was like, man, my last game against y'all, I put 28 and 11 on them. I had 20 points, 11 assists, and we lost. And I just didn't understand. That was the last high school basketball game, so I was like, Darius Hargrove, who's this guy? He had like 32, but I mean, I ain't trying to talk about him, but some of the plays he was cherry picking, but they had a good system.
I'm not mad at it, man. I'm not mad.
So that's my Virginia Union fact there.
Hey, listen, I got some too. A whole family full of them. So when I was at my sophomore year up in Colonial Heights, I just moved there. We had played a guy by the name of Brad Byerson.
Mm-hmm.
Big man also went to Virginia Union and also was a beast. So my experience with him is I was on JV. I was watching the varsity game, Thomasdale High School, and he caught the ball. Our defense was in a 2-3. He caught the ball at the top of the key, and he took one dribble into the paint, Joe, and he took off. I mean, I'm talking one dribble, 2 steps, and he just rose up on the entire 2-3 defense. I mean, and packed it in.
There's a guy in the middle, though.
Yeah, he didn't care anything about that. Flushed the whole thing, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." So this is what
He split the 2 guards. Gathered himself
like a grown man.
I don't want none of that smoke.
Flushed it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So keep in mind, he had at least 2 younger brothers. They came up around my time. They were a little bit younger than me. I believe Brandon and Braxton. They were twins.
Okay.
And they also, you know, came up, and those are the ones I'm used to playing against. Like I played against them, my extent through there. But man, that I'll never forget. Every time they're on the schedule, it's like, well, it's the Byerson boys. Like
there's some things you just don't forget. It's just on the good or bad side, or indifferent, or just a story in general. There's just something you don't forget, man. Definitely. Well, look, man, this is getting smooth for you here, and I see the background is adding on, so we're feeling comfortable.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I like it, man. So this is Commonwealth Sports Talk, brought to you by Legacy Maker Sports, and also Grind and Pray. And once again, we're here to bring you that VA love, so continue watching. Tune in for next week. Let's see here. I think we have Mike London from William & Mary Football next week. So tune in. Okay. A good one, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Commonwealth Sports Talk. Let's get it.
Appreciate you.